Yes, I believe our Creator has given us powers to literally create and shape our reality as we know it. But I know what you might be thinking if you're anywhere where I am right now in life, which is looking around at the world and thinking about all the pain and suffering and just unsupported areas of this earth that we all live on, and how it is really inhumane and evil at times what's going on, and sometimes it can make us feel helpless or put ourselves in a position where we feel like we don't have that much power to actually create a new reality for ourselves and those around us to really create a more harmonious and happy and joyful planet for all of us. But through this walk this morning I had, so I woke up at 4 this morning. If y'all don't know me, my name is Javian. Appreciate y'all for tapping into this video. And what I'm gonna share with you today is something I discovered, again, learned kind of through this walk this morning, about the two powers I believe that every human being possesses to actually create and start to shape the reality, things that I've noticed for myself and observed in others that have helped me do exactly what I just said. But also I wanna give you two specific strategies at the end of this video that you can use to implement the powers that we have inside of us, yes, inside of you, inside of me, inside of your mom, inside of your dad, inside of your sister, your brother, your niece, your aunt, your uncle, your cousin, your friend. Every single human being, I believe, has these powers, but maybe we don't all use them in an intelligent way to get us more of what we want, which I hope and I believe and I have faith in, that is a peaceful and loving core within all of us that we'd love to see continue and have more of in this world. So I was on this walk this morning. I wanted to break the pattern of my normal routine in order to be able to make more videos and put myself in a resourceful state to, be able to come on here, impact, and do what I feel like I'm created to do, right? So broke the pattern of my normal, maybe daily routine of going to the gym in the morning, and I decided to get out, do a walk, and do a run this morning. In the neighborhood that I live in, it's not the absolute best, but it was good to just be out there, saw a few different people. But really the big shift comes from, I'm listening to this Tony Robbins tape, and he says something that kind of jars me a little bit, kind of shocks me, kind of didn't make me feel the best, especially coming from like a manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, community or focus when it comes to a lot of my philosophies and beliefs and understandings, right? What he said was, we don't have control over the outside world. And this kind of hurt because, you hear a lot of, especially like the law of attraction, the secret, if you think good thoughts will come. But, you go through that path, you go through the process of implementing some of the work that these practitioners teach, and you just see that, you look around the world and nothing really changes. There's still suffering, there's still wars going on, there's still conflicts, there's still hate, there's still suffering, there's still pain. And, it can become discouraging in a way, because then you start to question the power that you may have inside, and you start to question some of these philosophies, which have good ideas, have good solid principles that we're going to, again, explore in this video. But I think with even more precision on what these powers are, and even more clarity on how we can use these powers in an intelligent way, aka a good way, to help us get more of what we want, I think it becomes that shift from merely just thinking and knowing something intellectually and being able to understand it and move that intellectual knowing into wisdom and a practical experiencing of the information that you know to be true already. And again, I'm going to repeat that last sentence one more time. Things that you know to be true already. Like, I'm not attempting to hit you with some shit that you've never heard before in your life or some out of this world philosophy. Like, no, this should become very tangible here right now, which is one of the powers that I'm about to say that we have that literally shapes everything about our world. And you let me know if this is true for you, because I know it's true for me. And this power is the power to choose. The power to choose, the power to decide, the power to say, this is what I'm gonna do, and then deciding and just doing that. Human beings are one of it's probably the only species on this planet that has that power of choice to decide. A lot of animals, a lot of dogs, cats, whatever, mammals, whatever you want to, animals, right? They don't have really the power to decide. It's all instinctual based. It's all things that are kind of maybe predestined and built into their biology. But humans, we have this human will, if you will, which is the ability to decide a new path, decide something new. But the problem is, there's so many of these patterns that have been conditioned in us by society. Patterns, word it can be substituted with is habits. There's a lot of these habits of focus, habits of belief, habits of things that we do with our physical body that maybe don't support us in the best way long term, maybe don't support us in the healthiest way possible. So I hear this, I'm walking this morning, I'm taking action, I'm doing the things, I'm breaking the pattern in my own life, and I'm thinking, I'm just like, man, well, what's the point? Like, why would I really do all these things if I don't really have that much control as I thought? And then the tape continues to play, and then I listen to the rest of the tape. I continue to do the exercise. I continue to, follow my morning routine, and I'm pondering on this idea all morning as I'm ingesting good information and putting myself in the right headspace and putting my own self in the positive state. And I'm just thinking about, okay, so what really are the forces that move the needle in our lives? And again, one of those, before we get into the forces and like the strategies to actually shape the lives, is first acknowledging the power that we have to choose. And I've talked about this on my channel before, but that power lies in the 3 choices that we're making at any given time. And that's the choice on what to focus on, the choice on what things mean to us, the meaning we associate to events, to experiences, to words, to the things that happen in our life, and then what we do with our physical body, what we decide to do, how we decide to breathe, how we decide to move our hands, how we decide to move our body, if we decide to put a camera out and make the video, right? So this is the power in the decisions that sometimes we're making consciously, sometimes we're making unconsciously. The more aware, the more in tune, the more present, the more tapped in you could be, the more conscious these decisions can become, and then we can tap into more of the power that comes with taking control of these 3 decisions to again, shape the things that we want. But the problem comes in when we have outside influences influencing those 3 decisions. And this brings up the second power that I believe all humans have. And again, it's one of these things that we do consciously and unconsciously, more often unconscious than not, because that's typically the way that the body works. 95% of our actions are controlled by our subconscious mind. Subconscious mind is the autopilot brain. It's the brain that keeps your heart beating 1,000 times a minute. It's the brain that keeps the blood flowing and digestive system moving and everything that we don't think about. It's a very powerful system of behavior that we have, and it's really based off of repetition, and what we put into it, repeated at certain points in our life, is what's going to perpetuate for the majority of our life unless we consciously go in and change it. And this process of change, what we're attempting to do with ourselves, maybe if you're conscious enough and hungry enough to desire something new in your life, or what society's trying to do to us because they have their own intentions, whoever's in power, they have our own intentions for how they want us to live. They're using this other power of influence to influence the choices that we make on a daily basis. So that's the 2 powers that we're talking about today in this video. Is the power of choice that every human being has, and the 3 biggest choices or decisions that we're making on a daily basis is going to be what to focus on, what things mean, and what we do. And then also the power of influence, the power of influence to influence ourselves, so we have complete control over our internal state, our emotional state, those decisions that we make on a consistent second by second basis, or what controls our state emotionally, internally. But then also how we choose to be in the world, how we choose to interact with the world, how we choose to show up in the world, the strategies that we choose to implement to get what we want in the world is also going to be a tremendous power to shape reality into the way that we want. And those are truly the only 2 things that we can control. Because again, going back to the story, and what kind of jarred me awake to this concept was this idea that we don't really have control. I mean, how many times have you prayed for a certain person to stay alive and they end up passing away, or a certain event or a person to come into your life and they never show up, or for wars to stop, or the genocide to stop, or the bleeding to stop, or the cancer to go away, or the heart to heal, or the money to come in, or the rent to be paid, or the food to come in. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. right? Does that mean we're helpless? Does that mean we're a victim? Does that mean we're powerless? Does that mean we have nothing that we can do in our control to take our power back and maybe tap into this God's grace that, you know, some of the philosophers or spiritual people talk about, or maybe the God's grace that you've experienced for yourself? Like, maybe there is a formula, maybe there is something that we can do internally, you know, with our state, with the decisions that we make on a second by second basis, and externally when it comes to how we influence the world and the strategies that we use to get more of what we want and experience more fulfillment, joy, happiness, peace, in spite of the storms, in spite of what's happening outside of us, in spite of all the negative events we might perceive as negative at the time. But, you know, maybe there is a way that by controlling our two most powerful forces in our life, the power of choice and the power of influence, to shape our reality. I believe that's true. And I believe that, you know, when I reflected on this from my own life and kind of just like dissected this all morning, it's true, right? Like, what we have control over and what people even in the manifestation community talk about is putting yourself in a state of the wish fulfilled, putting yourself in a state of feeling like the things that you want in your life have already happened. And that is what, you know, maybe quantum physics says attracts to your life because of the observer effect, or, you know, a lot of different new sciences or new spirituality things that can kind of make this connection between the spirit world or this energy moving, because energy is not created, it's just transformed. It's not destroyed, so it's just always changing, and you can, you know, relate that to how the power of what we focus on creates that reality. You can go into all those topics, but I don't want to make it that woo-woo, at least in this video. I love that stuff, and we can definitely talk about that in future videos, but like in this one, it's like all practical. It's just like really what makes sense. And the reason it makes sense is because what we call those three decisions, that triad of what to focus on, what things mean, and what we do with our body, that creates our emotional state. That automatically is going to create how we feel. You could do this test for yourself. You can have the same event in two people's lives, and they can feel totally different about it. How is it when one person dies in the family, you go to the funeral, somebody, that death affects them for that day in a super negative way, and it also affects them the rest of the year or multiple years down the line in a negative way because of that one event. While somebody else, they're seemingly positive on that same day. They're able to give a speech maybe about the life that the person lived as opposed to the death that you know, they're grieving about at the moment. And I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong, but in my opinion, like, how would you rather go through your life? You have limited time on earth. You know, would you want to go through that time grieving and feeling pain and sadness and hurt? Or would you rather go through that same period feeling joy, feeling peace, feeling like, you know, everything happens for a reason, it's all working out exactly how it should? You know, does that affect things on an energetic or spiritual level? Maybe you decide that for yourself, but what I do know is it's gonna affect your well-being. It's gonna affect how you spend your time, and how you spend your time is how you spend your life. So that's why, if it seems like I'm coming across long-winded or very intense or belaboring the same points in these videos, is because I believe in this stuff. I'm passionate about helping people enjoy more of their time on earth. I think it's important for us to enjoy our time on earth. And to enjoy that time on earth, we have to decide to enjoy it. We have to decide to choose the right strategies internally and externally to get us what we want. And the best strategies are going to be when we tap into our greatest resources, and our greatest resources are our power to choose and our power to influence. So right now, what I want to kind of transition into is what are strategies and what can we do to create more strategies of what we want to attract more of that in our life. Well, again, emotional state is just basically an internal strategy to get us something that's important to us. So we learn these emotional strategies to get us what we want in childhood most of the time. You know, you don't get to go play with your friends, you might cry, and then your parents rewarded that behavior of crying with being able to go play with your friends. So now anytime you want to get what you want, you start crying, or you get mad to get what you want, or you get you know, grateful to get what you want, or you get jealous to get what you want. There's a lot of these strategies that we learn growing up that now we don't question, or now we don't rethink after we've had new experiences in life to say, hey, that gets us what we want 50% of the time, but 50% of the time it don't. Maybe there's a better strategy to get what I want instead of being mad or sad or jealous or any of these lower quality emotions, right? So the point I'm making here is emotions are just internal strategies. So in a second, I'm going to give you what I believe is the best emotion or internal strategy that will seamlessly attract more of what you want in your life. But the second thing that we're talking about here is external strategies. So how we interact with the world, how we be in the world in order to get us what we want. Because that's what essentially we're doing as humans. Whether you consciously think about it or unconsciously think about it, we're all just really moving towards this survival and happiness. We just have shitty strategies to get it, and therefore most people don't get there. And I don't want to blame it all on the strategies, because there's definitely opposition out there who's trying to implement different external strategies to keep you poor, fat, broke, lazy, and stupid. That's a real agenda that's going on that you should be aware of. But it sometimes comes from ignorance, or just, again, not having the right strategies to change what you already do on a habitual basis and the patterns that you have. So, in my opinion, the best way to get what you want, or like this success formula, the external strategy we should use is first things first, always, is know what you want. Anytime that you want to get a new result in your life, you have to get absolutely clear on what you want. Not what you don't want, not avoiding pain, not going through this, I just want to avoid going through another relationship like that. I just want to avoid getting my heart broke again. I just want to avoid having to, be fat and uncomfortable at the pool. I just want to avoid being broke. I just want to avoid having to pay rent. What you're doing right there is you're focusing on all the things that you don't want, and then you wonder why they keep happening in your life, because we get whatever we focus on. So with the strategy externally, how we should go about influencing the world is, first we should get crystal clear on what we want. What we want, not what we don't want. And then once we get clear on what we want, we should create a plan to go get it. Like, this is simple stuff. I told you, it was not going to be nothing like crazy, profound, like just out of this universe. Like simple shit, simple scales, fancy facts. So we create a plan to get what we want. And then third, we take action on that plan. And then after we take that action, we'll get some feedback loops on what's working and what's not, and we'll get new insights, and then we should probably change the actions that we're taking and get us closer to what we want. So why do people fail? Well, it's only on one of those 4 steps. They either are not absolutely clear on what they want, they don't have a plan on how to get it, they don't take enough action once they have the plan, and then they don't adjust over time to improve the action that they're taking. So what can we do to get a shortcut? What can we do to improve this process? Well, again, this is kind of a strategy I've taken from a lot of different places, but I think the one who coined it was this concept in NLP, and Tony Robbins and John Grinder and Richard Bandler, which is modeling success, modeling these internal states or external strategies that people use to get what they want, and breaking it down and getting clear on exactly what they do in a specific syntax, step by step. What is the step by step things that you're doing either in your head or in the world to get you what you want? That's a strategy. That's all it is. It's just, what is the syntax of actions I should do to get me what I want? And what we have talked about earlier in this video is that there's internal strategies, steps, actions, things that you should focus on, things that, meanings that you should associate with things, and things that you should do to help you tap into more of what you want. We're gonna get into what that specific strategy I believe is in a second, but then there's also external strategies that you should do to get you what you want. And again, we might already know some of these external strategies. We might need to just go take action on it. You might need to shut this video off, go make a plan right now on what you should do to get you closer to what you want, execute on that plan, and then see if it works or not. But the way you can even be certain is to go find somebody else that's already produced the results you want, find out exactly what they did to get the result, and then just do what they did. If it's truly a strategy and they didn't just get lucky and it wasn't just no fluke accident or some miracle, some odd thing happens, the universe has laws. They probably did something habitually on a consistent basis to reprogram their mind and to allow them to habitually do the right things every day, because Repetition is the mother of skill. To get good at anything, we have to do it consistently. Can't just, show up once and then not do it ever again. I've made 300 of these videos. I'm just going to keep showing up, right? Might take a little break, wait till I'm inspired again, but I'm going to keep showing up. So we have to continue to show up, continue to do the same things habitually every single day, consistently. And then that turns into the skill. That turns into the person that has the things that you want. That's what it's about anyway, right? It's like becoming the person that has the things, and then all the things show up. So to make this practical and just give you the two strategies I believe are the most powerful, one for internal strategies that you should use to get you more of what you want, but also two, the external strategies should get you more of what you want. And that is, one, the internal is gratitude, and two, the external is giving, serving. What I'm doing here right now. And this is why these work, and this is how you can implement them. One, gratitude is going to work because gratitude puts you in a receiving state. If you're in a state of receiving, if you believe in all the woo-woo stuff like I believe in spiritual, that, becoming in the right state is going to attract these things to you, and that's how quantum mechanics works and shows the way that the universe works, and going deep into the rabbit hole. Yes, that's fine, and that's exactly why it works. You're 100% right. But also in a practical sense, if you're grateful, if you're in a receiving state, then you're going to be happier. You're not going to be angry. You're not going to be fearful. You're not going to be in the negative emotions that mess people up in the relationships that we have in business, in our intimate relationships, in our family relationships. You're not going to have those emotions, so therefore you're going to naturally have better experiences. I hope you're following. If you feel happier, if you feel joyful, if you feel grateful for what you have, you're going to go into those relationships and not experience as many problems. You're not going to have that argument tonight. You're not going to have an argument with your kids, all these other people, because you're in a gratitude state. So just from a practical sense, it's going to get you more of what you want. And probably on an energetic, universal sense, it probably literally attracts more of what you want. And it's the only thing that we can control. Well, one of the two things that we can control. So after we've implemented that internal strategy, next, what do you do externally? Well, I think the two go hand in hand, and it's what we can control. It's kind of that third pillar of the triad, like the influence piece, the power to influence. It's kind of that third pillar of the triad, which is what we do, what we decide to do with our physical body, what we decide, how we decide to act in the materialistic world. And I believe one of the strongest actions or strongest labors that we can give the material world, and really is love in action, is service. Finding a way to give, finding a way to tap into more resources of yourself and give those resources, give those insights, give those gifts that you've been giving yourself to others, in hopes to positively impact them, hopes to positively move them forward, and hopes to literally just get them more of what they want and need and deserve and feel that they are worth, without asking for nothing in return. I just want to come on this video right now and serve to my highest capability, and whatever comes back, comes back. But, the goal is to help you to maybe see something different, maybe get a little bit more clarity on, how this whole manifestation process works. How can I tap into more of what I want? What are some actions right now I can do to become more grateful? We talked about the decisions that we're making, so all you got to do is change those decisions to change your state. What can I focus on to make me more grateful? Well, I can focus on things I'm grateful for. That's pretty obvious. Okay, what can I, maybe there's something I'm focused on that seems so bad in the moment and it really hurts me right now. Maybe I can shift the meaning of that event in my life. Oh, I'm going through a quote unquote breakup. Maybe I can not look at this as like the end of the relationship, but maybe I can look at this as the start of a new relationship that I have with this person. And, at the start of this new relationship, there's certain things that need to be done in order to get it where you want to be. And then from that space, you maybe are more inclined to go research someone who has healed a relationship and find out the strategy that they used, and maybe that and help you take action to mend that relationship if that's something that you're going through, right? But, the key is the way that we look at things change the things that we look at. So if we want to change the things that we look at, we must change the way that we look at things. And that change first starts internally, but then it also starts with the way that we look at action. A lot of us view it as a job. A lot of us view it as work. A lot of us view it as something that we have to do. No, it's something that you get to do. It's something that you're blessed to do. It's something that God has given in you to give others. It's a gift that you receive freely. And if you start to become grateful for that gift, maybe you'll tap into it more. Maybe if you tap into it more, you'll give it more. And when you give it more, the universe will give back to you. especially because you're already in a receiving state. It has no other choice but to give you more of what you are. And this is stuff that, again, you probably already know inherently on some level. I'm just reminding you. I'm just bringing you back to the self that realizes you have everything and there is truly nothing you're seeking external. And, if we really want to tap into the divinity that we know we are and become the best version of ourselves and reach this highest point, we really want to think how God thinks. And God's so full, God's so abundant, God's so grateful for all he's created and all in his magnificence, that the only thing left to do for him is to give everything, because he knows there's always going to be more left. We're never running out of love, right? So just give it all, and then watch that the universe just surprises you. God's just going to surprise you. He gives to the givers. And again, we could tie this into a lot of different aspects in the human psychology and our biology, and maybe how that interacts with the energetic universe. And we do that on this channel, so if you're interested in that, stay tuned and let me know in the comments. But, in this video, let's just keep it practical. If you move around in this world in a better, more positive way, and you're looking to give instead of get, people are going to resonate with that. People love to get gifts. Contrary to popular belief, people love to be seen, to be understood, to be appreciated, to be given the gifts that they really need. And understanding what these needs are is a big study of mine, in psychology, to understand what inherently human beings need in terms of love, certainty, significance, contribution, variety, freedom, impact, right? And hopefully what I'm doing in this video is giving you the clarity in knowing those things, giving you the gift of the purposeful action that you're going to take today to move towards this better version of yourself, a version of yourself who taps into better internal strategies, aka emotional states like gratitude, by focusing on more of what you want and experiencing the feeling that you already have it. And that's a strong belief that you can take in, and that's what's going to ultimately take a change in belief systems and doing this consistently. But Einstein says up here, it's a belief that I have, which is imagination is everything. It is the preview of life's coming attractions. So if I have that belief that imagination is everything, it's the preview of life's coming attractions, what Albert Einstein said, one of the smartest human beings to ever walk the planet, and I align myself with that belief because maybe he knows something that I don't know, and I just role model his mind with the mindset of one of the greatest ever, right? Maybe through that belief, then when I start to focus on what I want, or maybe I start to become more aware of what I'm focusing on, and then I start to choose to focus more on what I want, and then by me focusing on what I want, what that means to me is that, hey, I'm imagining this, which means this is coming. This is life's coming attraction. So therefore, I start to feel better, and I start to get grateful, and I start to get happy, and I feel like I already have all the success and abundance and love and wealth and joy and peace and happiness and abundance that I'm quote unquote seeking for. So all I want to do is give that away. All I want to do is go serve. All I want to do is allow others to feel that as well. Right? What's all the money in the world if you don't have nobody to spend it with? But what's the hardest times in the world if you have great people to enjoy those times with and share the gift of joy and peace and resilience in hard times? So hopefully this inspires you to give the gift of that presence of love to those around you and ultimately the world. Because we need it in times like this where there's so much suffering and there's so much things outside of our control that we foresee. What we must do is tap into the powers that we do have, and those are the powers that we are in control of, which is the ability to control ourselves, the ability to control how we feel internally by choosing what to focus on, by choosing what things mean in our lives, by choosing what we do. And one of the big things that we choose to do on a daily basis is influence others. So my question to you is, how are you going about influencing those around you today? Are you going to be a positive influence? Are you going to show and improve and be greatness today, and be love today, and be happy today, and be abundant today? So that way, other people can start to focus more on those emotions, and they can say, what does that emotion mean to me? Does that mean that no matter what I go through, I can experience those emotions too? Maybe it's something else. Maybe you have to give them time to grow, but we can't necessarily always control all of that. But we can tap into better strategies, better skills of change, of influence, to maybe get them there a little bit faster. So I'm fascinated with this. I'm constantly studying the craft of change work and transformation work to help people get more of what they want. So if you're interested in those insights, you're interested in those strategies that I learned that I just come and openly give to you guys, stay tuned. Subscribe, comment if there's any specific strategies or specific things that you want to talk about. But I encourage you all to do this for yourself. I know it was a long video here on Thursday, but I feel it was well needed in times like this, and I hope it serves you. And I hope that after this video, you take action towards becoming more grateful and figure out a way that you can serve someone today. Serve something bigger than yourself, serve a mission, serve God, serve a family member who passed away, serve your kids, serve your spouse, serve something larger than yourself, and tap out of that selfish nature in a more of a grateful nature for all that you do have. And I think not only will you be happier, but in this state, you'll perform better, you'll be more free, you'll be more flow state, and that will allow you to get better results and achieve more and have all the success and stuff that we think we want. So hopefully this has blessed you. I think that's it. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one.